I was charged with absconding, which technically means that I had the intention to avoid my supervision while I was on parole.
This is James Severe. In 2020, he was sent back to prison for this so-called absconding, which is a technical violation. Technical violations are instances when someone doesn't comply with a technical condition of their probation or parole, and they vary from state to state. But here's the thing, James was complying with his parole. From the time he was released from prison in 2018 to when he was arrested for absconding in 2020, he had followed all the rules. He was also going to school, playing football, had 2 jobs, and got an internship. And then the pandemic hit.
Everything turns virtual. I'm calling my PO to check in, calling the building to check in. I'm just calling and calling, and I'm not getting through. While I was reincarcerated, I had found out that my parole officer had retired.
James was assigned a new parole officer, but he was never notified, so he was unknowingly calling to check in with the wrong PO, and for that, he was charged with absconding. James is one of roughly 75,000 people who are incarcerated for technical violations on a given day in the United States. Absconding, what James was charged with, is just one of many examples. Other examples of technical violations include crossing state lines, missing curfew, being in the presence of alcohol, failing to pay court costs, and marrying someone with a felony conviction. You might have noticed that not one of these examples is actually a crime. That's because the majority of technical violations are non-criminal, which results in a lot of people being locked up for breaking rules, not laws.
There's no evidence to show that technical violations, sending someone back to jail or prison, keeps society safer. In fact, it separates individuals from their safety net.
This is Robert Rooks. He's the CEO of Reform Alliance, a national organization focused on changing the systems of probation and parole.
When you give someone a technical violation, you take them out of their community. You take them out of their family. They're no longer able to work.
Removing people from their support systems has a devastating effect on entire communities.
We have created a generation of people who have to live their lives on the margins of society, and you can't be safe on the margins. We need to bring people in systems of care. We need to get them the help that they need, job placement, individual counseling if they need it, substance abuse counseling if they need it, and then help people get back to work and provide for their families. Real safety exists in providing people real help.
Despite a complete lack of evidence that locking people up for technical violations makes the public safer, the U.S. criminal justice system spends $2.8 billion each year doing just that. So it's no wonder that nearly 1 in 4 admissions to prisons across the United States are because of technical violations. But there are alternative responses to people breaking the rules of their probation or parole.
We are seeing a shift in how some forward-thinking counties are dealing with technical violations. Some are using it as a last resort and instead are getting people connected to programs and services to help them to address root causes of crime.
For instance, the probation department in El Dorado County, California, set up transitional housing for people experiencing homelessness. And in Georgia, people on probation have the opportunity to complete community service instead of being sent back to jail or prison.
We're seeing forward shifts in this area, but we have a long way to go.
Making further progress requires fundamental changes to a system that has increasingly relied on punitive action, not rehabilitation, as a public safety solution.
We have the largest prison system in the world. We have a system that is supposed to keep us safe, but it's not. Instead, it is separating individuals from their families, from their communities, their ability to work, and that's not real safety.
So what is a system that keeps people safe?
A system that invests in people, invests in individuals' lives, also invests in individuals' communities and families. That helps everyone.